Now, the Aldahni Garrison is a depot for supplies, weapons, and the payroll for the entire Imperial sector. All to protect this runway opening, the flight deck of a single MAX 7 Rono freighter. We're taking crates of payroll from that room, loading the freighter, and escaping out of the runway tunnel.
Obviously, it's not to scale.
I'll be here midday, and I expect to see it shine.
Absolutely, sir.
Make sure the men know how close they've come.
Hello, and welcome to another Aldahni update number 8. Today, we're going to be looking at the vault slash the garrison, sort of what I've got done so far, and then I think next time it should be done by then, and then we'll also go over just a couple additional things that I've been working on to give you a more complete idea of all the progress that I've got done. So as you can see right now, I've got some of the figures carrying a credit carrier, and then we've got a cart back there, and you can see we've got some fun expressions on some of the Imperial figures, and so that was great to be able to use, but let's see if we can't get a good look at some of the scenes in the back there. So you can see Vel hiding behind tipped over, like one of those carts that's sort of tipped over. We'll take a look at the wider angle, see if I can't capture some more of the detail there. You can you can see from this angle, we've got Gorn down there on the ground. Unfortunately, he is one of the first to go in the Aldahni arc. I mean, it's really cool. I like it as a storytelling decision to just kill him off so unceremoniously, because it does really add to that, like, well, no, this is an exploding situation, like there's no time to like really mourn his death or anything, but in the show it happened so fast that I remember the first time I watched episode 6, I wasn't sure what happened to Gorn, but sure enough, upon rewatches, you can definitely see him go down. And then in the back there, you can see the Commandant there. I may try and find a better way to convey that he's like actually had a heart attack. I might have him be like falling over. But right now I've got him kind of just pushing that empty cart. Let's see. Yeah, no, we're not going to be able to see from that angle. You can see up top that I've got this one Imperial soldier that's kind of exploding, or being forced from an explosion. That's a really quick shot of one of the soldiers that Skeen ends up shooting. It's just kind of fun to see them, like, see an explosion go off and they fall off the railing, and he had a fun expression to be able to use for that. And then next to him, we've got the communications officer, and then, we've got more sort of Imperial soldiers, one there that's a little worried, and then another one taking a shot, as well as another one. That one has his goggles on. And then you've got another Imperial soldier over there running through the doorway. And you'll be able to see it a lot better when we go to the wide angle, but the actual doorway behind him is using the satin transclear panel piece. Thing that actually does really well as far as it doesn't eliminate all light from getting through, but it also it's translucent, not transparent, and so I think it does a good job of giving a sense of depth where one doesn't really exist. But then let's see if by moving down, you can kind of see it's a little dark, but you can see Skeen, and then the vault behind him. Unfortunately, when building this, initially I was going to have the vault on the front side. However, upon building this, that became clear that that wasn't going to be an option with how the slope of the dam works. And so I wasn't able to do that. So I had to put it behind the ship. And unfortunately, the only way that you were going to be able to see into it meant that it really wasn't going to have like an additional archway or anything like that. But I think it turned out well. Yeah, I think that's about all I want to go over with the close-ups. So we'll go ahead and we'll move to a wider angle, and we'll go over just a bit more. So taking a look here, or taking a wider look at the Garrison, you can kind of see that it is very much a work in progress. I don't have a back wall up. I was able to put in the side wall over there, and I kind of started work on the top, and I got pretty much the angle down. This side I'm going to have entirely covered, and then the sort of panel that I'm going to make to go down, it'll sit below that angle, kind of like that. My hand's shaking, but I hope you get the point. And so yeah, so I guess trying to think of where to start. Let's go ahead and we'll change angles just a little bit. So over here you can you can see more of that wall that I actually was able to finish, and you can see that even on the other side of the vault wall, I was able to finish that wall, though that really won't be too visible when you're looking at the MOC. Only if you look at it from specific angles will you be able to see that. And the vault wall, I've thought about making shorter, but I'm not sure. It's always hard to tell if I should do that or not. But So as you can see here at the front, I tried, I'm going to try using these arch pieces that I was able to pick up at the Pick-a-Brick wall. I'm going to try using those to make the curve in the dam, because the dam has several different curves. I'm not sure what to call those architecturally. They're like reverse pillars, I guess. Divots, maybe. But in order to do that, because they have to be lined up with the top of the tunnel, and so I have to put them back at about this length, and so that made it abundantly clear that I wasn't going to be able to actually put the vault in front, and so I've got to work on that and try and figure out how I'm going to do that. The other thing that makes a lot more complicated is that if you can tell, so those are on top. I've got a whole bunch of these sort of support pillars laid down sideways. And right now they're making up sort of the ceiling. I like that look from the interior. However, as you can tell, that the angle here, I'm gonna have to reduce that. But even then, the top of the dam is going to be quite wide, which isn't exactly ideal. Because that's just not how it is in the show. However, I think it'll still turn out pretty good. I think once I put like the comms tower on there, I can do a few things to make it seem a little narrower. But I think it'll still look fine once it's all said and done. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and I'll show you what the lighting looks like right now. And then we'll go from there. So it's a little hard to tell, but I did put in, I've got a light behind the stacks of payroll in the vault, or not in the vault, in the Rono freighter, and I'm wondering if you can see them. So it's a little hard to capture on camera, but we've got Clem and Nemec in there. And then as far as lights go, there is another light up on the ceiling there. And so that should hopefully, when this is all closed off, hopefully it should illuminate it quite well. It's a little hard to tell on camera, so I may put in a photograph of what all the lights look like, just to show you that it will illuminate the internals of the Garrison. And then the lights also are on the tunnel, which you can kind of see there. I think they look pretty good. There's just 4 red lights. And again, I might put up a photo of that, because in the dark it looks pretty cool. and gives this nice red glow to the whole tunnel. But you can't quite see that on the camera. But so let's go ahead and we'll zoom in and take a look at some of the other things that I've worked on for this update. So we're back with the close-up lens to sort of talk about some other updates that I've done. I made a new sort of speeder bike design. I think it's fine. I think it works well for what I'm going for here. Just a very minimalist type speeder. I tried to base it off of the one that Gorn uses in episode 4. And so you can tell that those ones are very flat and they're also gray. As opposed to like the brown ones that we see on Andor, or the white ones that are in like the Mandalorian and Rebels. And so I made a few of those. I also gave a pauldron to one of the scout troopers back there to make a scout trooper commander. And then you can see right there that we've got a scout trooper actively jumping onto the bike. And then next to him, we've got a Imperial informant. I was able to actually pick one of those up for a pretty good deal. And then you can see just in front of him, we've got another speeder bike that's sort of flying out. And then back there, we've got another scout trooper ready to get on the bike. I had a bunch of Imperial crew members left over. I counted up the number of Imperial crew members in the show that are in the vault, and there were 7, and so that led to me having a lot more left over, so I was able to put one in the elevator there, then put one there, and I put a couple more over there, and just sort of had them looking down over the base, and more specifically, he's looking down while I'm panning down. I found a larger window in my collection that I think will work a lot better. However, I have to go in and change out the bricks for that to actually expand the interior window. I think that'll look a lot better to have it be a lot bigger, because you can tell even from this angle that it makes it a lot easier to see the figures inside of there. But as we keep moving down to take a look at what they were looking at, those front 2 troopers, you can see the one I was able to give pauldrons to. I just thought that might look a bit better, but moving all the way down to sort of see where the binoculars are aimed, I put a little spill of water. I had that there earlier, but so you can kind of see here, and I'll take some photography because that'll look a lot better. But you can see sort of what the whole mock is looking like with just the lights. Right now, I added in, and again, it's kind of hard to see on the camera here, but I did go ahead and I found some at like the dollar store. I found a little like strip of LED like red lights. I think they were meant to be like Valentine's lights, but I added those up at the top, and so that gives a more solid red look to the Alkenzi base, which it's not really coming through on the camera, but in person it looks a lot more red rather than blue. And then the midsection hasn't really changed, or Nos McLean. The Mighty River, it hasn't changed. But then you can kind of see, if we zoom in, perhaps. You can see now that one overhead light, that's what's sort of giving everything that yellow glow and illuminating everything. I think that looks pretty well, or pretty good. And then the light coming from the Rono, I think that looks pretty good. And then, yeah, right there you can get a pretty good sense of the lights in the tunnel, which I think when I have the rest of this all covered up, I think that'll be a really cool sight to see, especially when the valley is all finished as well. I thought it would be a neat detail, and so yeah, I think that's pretty much all the updates. Um, and so, yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this update and look forward to finishing the Garrison. Um, and yeah, I'll see you then. Bye bye.